All right, guys, here we are on page 2. So number 15, it says, examine the following Punnett squares and circle those that are correct. So you had to see if the Punnett squares were done correctly. So remember, the way that you do these is you drop the D down and you move the D over. So this box is done correctly. Let's look here. I drop this D down and this D over. So that box done correctly. Here, I move the D over, drop this D down. It's kind of looking like a football pattern here, but get the idea. This box is done correctly, and then I look at this box here. This D came down, this D came over. So this whole box was done correctly. So it said circle those that were correct. Let's move on to box 2. I'm looking here at this box first. I dropped the D down. I moved the D over. Look at this box here. I dropped the D down. I moved the D over. Uh-oh, that's a lowercase. That's an uppercase. So this box is not done correctly. No reason to look at the rest. All right, box 3, capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A. We're good. Lowercase a, capital A, lowercase a. So this box is done incorrectly. All right, box number 4, capital A, lowercase a. We're good. Lowercase a's, we're good. Capital A, lowercase, lowercase. We're good. This one's done correct. All right. So what do the letters on the outside of that Punnett square stand for? What do they mean anyway? So remember, this is the study of genetics. So what genetics is studying how traits are passed on from parents to offspring. So we're trying to guess, we're trying to get the probability of what the children of two parents will look like. So the letters on the outside, that represents the parents' alleles. So the parents' traits that they have. The letters on the inside, they predict the probability of the offspring's alleles. Remember that offspring is just a fancy word for kids, so the babies. Alleles. Okay. Scrolling on down. All right. In corn plants, normal height, so capital N, is dominant for short height, lowercase n. Complete the 4 Punnett squares showing the different crosses, then shade red the homozygous dominant offspring, shade green the heterozygous offspring, leave the homozygous recessive blank. All right, so switch colors here. So the squares were made up for you. You have the letters on the outside. Remember, that's not how it's going to be on a test. You're going to have to figure out what the parents' genotypes are, but this is baby steps intro into it. So if we start with this, remember you take your one letter out, you start with one side, you drop down the N, then you do the other side. Move over the N. It would not have mattered if you started with this N, but remember, general rule, you always put the capital letter in front of the lowercase letter, okay? So then capital N, lowercase n, capital N, lowercase n, capital N, lowercase n. All done. Move over to this box. And then box 4. Okay. So then it says the directions say to shade the red homozygous dominant offspring, shade them red. Okay. So homozygous dominant. Remember, you're looking for capital, capital. So here's my capital, capital. Right. Capital, capital right here. And that's all I see. You see any more? We're good. All right, then shade green all the heterozygous offspring. So here's heterozygous, heterozygous. This whole box is heterozygous. Sorry, I went out of order there. Heterozygous, heterozygous, and those are both heterozygous. Okay, and then leave the homozygous recessive unshaded. we're good. Let's move on down to number 19, I'm sorry. In guinea pigs, short hair is dominant to long hair. Complete the following Punnett squares according to the directions, then fill in the blanks beside the Punnett square. All right, so I always write a key just to kind of keep myself straight because you can get confused easily. Now they use the letter S, not my favorite letter because I have a hard time telling the difference between my capital and my lowercase s. And so if you're ever given the option of picking your letter, pick a letter that you can easily tell the difference between your capital and your lower. Like I usually pick A. But anyway, we were given S, so we'll stick with that. So capital S is going to be long hair, and lowercase s will be short hair. All right, so that way I can just really quickly look and remember what's going on. So one guinea pig is capital S, little s. So one guinea pig is heterozygous if we use our fancy scientific words. And again, I had to make my s's very over-exaggerated to make sure that I can tell the difference between a capital and a lower. And then the other parent goes on the other side, because remember you have one parent on the top and one parent on the side, and then you cross. So this is showing the sperm and the egg combining, so fertilization is occurring. So the middle box is the possibilities of the offspring. So capital S, little s, little s, little s. Capital S, little s, little s, little s. All right, so then it says expected number of offspring. So remember I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so how many are short hair? And it even gave you a key. Short hair, remember, is going to be either homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So I have 2 boxes where I'm going to have short hair. And I have 2 boxes where I have long hair. All right, perfect. Let's go on down to the next one. All right, both guinea pigs are heterozygous. Oh, no, they didn't give you any letters. What are you going to do? Well, you have to remember what heterozygous means. So let me ask you, does heterozygous mean big letter, little letter, or little letter, little letter? If you picked big letter, little letter, you're right, that's heterozygous. So both of them are heterozygous. So one parent, and then the other parent, and I know I switched letters. It'll be okay. We'll just go with it. Big A, big A, big A, little a, big A, oops, little a. And remember that the big A always goes first right there. Little a, little a. Okay, so now the expected number of offspring. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How many have short hair? So remember short hair is, did I do this right? Oh no, in guinea pig, short hair, S is dominant. Oopsies. See, that's why I make a key. Even I make mistakes. It's okay, as long as you catch them. All right, so short hair is when, I know you were probably already saying like, what is she doing? Crazy fool. I am crazy. You guys already know me. All right, so short hair would be in any of the homozygous dominant or the heterozygous. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 short and 1 long. Okay? Good job. And let's move on down. All right, so the next one, part C. Monohybrid cross problems. So they're progressively getting harder. They're giving you less and less information. So it says hornless cows, capital H, is dominant over horned. Okay, so I'm just going to write my key. I'll do it right this time. Hornless, okay, is dominant over horned. So lowercase h, horned. All right, now let's keep reading. We're going to have to figure out our parents. So who's making some babies? So a homozygous hornless bull is mated with a homozygous horned cow. So let's do the bull first. So homozygous, so I know it's either going to be capital, capital, or lower, lower. Well, it said hornless. In order for it to be hornless, it must be capital, capital. All right, then I have homozygous horned. In order for it to be horned, it has to be lower, and it said homozygous, so it's lower, lower. Now I can do my cross. Make my Punnett square. One parent on the top, one parent on the side. Fill in the box. Okay, all done. Now we have to see what the question wants us to write. It says, what will be the genotypic and phenotypic for the first generation? So remember my parents, I represent that by a P. For first generation, I just write a F1. Okay, and then it asks for my genotype. So genotype, remember T-Y-P-E. Genotype is talking about the letters. That's a simple way to say it, the alleles. So remember I had 3 possible combinations. I could have had big H, big H, big H, or little h, little h. So then the phenotypes would be 0, big H, 4, big H, and 0, little h, little h. The phenotype is asking you about the physical description. So horned or hornless. All right, what was the dominant again? So hornless is the dominant. So I have 4 hornless and 0 horned. All done. All right, I'll stop it here and then we'll move on to page 3. Stop button.